Jin Kennen is my favorite deck I've played in any card game. And I've been playing card games for 11 years. I think the deck is incredibly powerful. It has a lot of great tools, but despite me professing this and milking it for all of the views that it's worth, people still think of it as just a copium collection of digital cardboard. Quite frankly, that makes me a little upset because this deck means a lot to me. I made it myself and it performed well. No one else seems to give it any sort of respect or credentials despite me performing with that deck. And I think the main reason is that I've never won a tournament with a lineup that had Jin Kennen in it. I mean, even in the Glory for Navori Brawl, I wasn't able to find a Jin Kennen version that I liked fast enough to bring it to this invitational. So when the Champion Draft Series reached out to me to participate in an 8-week tournament competing against some of the greatest players and content creators, I knew this was my chance. By the accolades alone, there was some Worlds qualifiers, there were seasonal champions, and multiple players who had placed incredibly high in the Masters ladder that I would be up against, and it was the perfect landscape for me to bring Jin Kennen in and perform well, to show everyone that Jin Kennen is as strong as I've been saying that it is. The way this tournament format worked was a little bit different. Every player would draft a lineup of 10 champions, and from those 10 champions, you would build standard Riot format decks, no duplicate region combinations, or no duplicate champion combinations, I mean to say. However, there was a key difference here. 1, you could only build decks with the champions that were in your pool. 2, you had to use all 6 of your champ slots. There was no one-ofs that you would be able to just do like 4 champions or 2 champions. And in order to use a region, you had to have a champion from that region. It made it for a really unique tournament where people were able to really flex their deck building chops, right? So I drafted my lineup, which consisted of Jin Kennen, Lee Sin, Akshan, Jax, Tristana, Kaisa, and Jarvan IV, and prepared to face down some of the toughest competition I would ever have to face. The way this works is you play 1 match a week. So you'd have about 6 days to prepare for your next opponent, and you would know what champions they had in their pool, but you wouldn't know their deck list until right before the match. This meant that you had a pretty good idea what someone would bring, but it was never guaranteed. Going into this, I decided the best way to prepare for this format would be to target the strongest champion combination or pairing that my opponents had. As long as I teched all of my decks into beating that one specific deck, then I would have a really high shot at just winning all of my matches. In order to achieve my goal of getting a top placement in this tournament, I knew that I would have to come not just with a strong Jin Kennen deck, but with strong decks and gameplay all around. Going into week 1, I was up against player Tempo Mao. Now, Tempo Mao placed top 32 in multiple seasonals and is a renowned aggro player. He's like really good at aggro, and if it's one thing Jin Kennen hates, it's playing into aggro. Luckily though, since I knew he would be playing aggro, I prepared accordingly and targeted one of the decks that I knew he would bring, Ashe LeBlanc. The thing about Ashe LeBlanc is that it kind of loses to Jin Kennen. I've beaten that deck many times with Jin Kennen, so I knew that as long as my other 2 decks also beat it, I would be clear and good to go here. But that all changed the moment I saw his lineup, because his Ashe LeBlanc list brought Reckoning. Reckoning is a card that kills all units with 4 or less power. And if there's one thing about Jin Kennen, most of your units have 4 or less power. This meant that the entire game I had to have a deny in hand in order to beat that Reckoning. And it did come down to the matchup of Ashe LeBlanc versus Jin Kennen. Despite my week 1 not going very well, I still knew that I had a really good shot at getting this W in week 2 because I was up against Elzon, and Elzon's lineup of champions was a little incoherent. Now, these first 2 weeks were really important to me because if I was able to get a strong lead in the first 2 weeks, that would make my later matches against the really strong players in the tournament a lot easier. A lot of the decks that she brought relied on RNG. However, that RNG didn't save her that much because sometimes it fell in my favor as well.
Oh, I just fucking won.
Going into my week 3 match against Capital, I knew that I was going to have to get my win here. I was currently 1-1, and there was only about 2 weeks left before the midpoint of the season, so I wanted to have a nice 3-1 record going into those last 4 matches I would have to play. Because of that, I was very specific with my lineup, and I decided to try to pull a massive mind game against my opponent. I was going to try and force Capital to ban a specific deck. That way I would have 2 decks that I knew were still good enough into his tools. And because of that, I didn't bring Jin Kennen. Jin Kennen ended up losing into a majority of Capital's decks, like just badly. despite this being about me showing the world that Jin Kennen is strong, this wasn't the place to do that. So instead, I came up with a mind game. I was going to attempt to force Capitao to ban a very powerful deck, leaving me with 2 decks that were specifically tailored to beat his archetypes. Now, Capitao had brought decks that focused on playing down 1 or 2 key threats and using those to win the game. So I brought Darkness and Liakshan as my secondary decks because those decks were really good at stealing games while also negating big key threats. All right, so let's see if we can high roll and cook. Get a free dub while we're here. I wonder if he thinks he can beat Darkness. Oh, I wonder if that's it. He just goes, yeah, fuck it. I'll lose to Elites, I'll beat Darkness. That could be it. Big flex! Oh no, I still live. Oh, I was like, no way! Oh, he's being countered! And I'll tell you what, that me and Capitao both knew that was gonna happen. This is when shit gets real. I now have to win with Darkness into both of his decks. Of the 2 matchups, this is the hardest one for me to play Darkness. Scion one, not very difficult. If I hit, I'd love to hit Soul Cleave, because Senna Soul Cleave would be hilarious, dude. Oh wait, I have Dawning Shadow. That's actually crazy. I kind of forgot that this card just answers Lux in 1 turn. We're in a bit of a spot. We're in a bit of a spot, gamers. I don't know what I'm gonna do here. Actually, oh shit. Oh, we're cooking. We cook, actually. That cooks. That cooks hard as fuck. That's GG. That's actually just GG. I don't think I lose this anymore. I believe I've hit 3 Luxes. He's got 1 more Lux! Oh, that's GG. That's GG. I thought I hit all 3. I'm gonna FF. I'm gonna conserve my timer. So now I have to play into a deck that can't remove my stuff, which is great. This actually will be a bit of an easier time. He's got Brutal Skirmish, which is a bit of a pain. And if he gets a really aggressive, like, nuts hand, I am fucked. Oh, this is really good. I actually should do... My Darknesses aren't free, though. If my Darknesses were free, that'd be crazy. That is a GG. Well played, gamer. Good shit. I'll still big flex, because I'm still the GOAT. But that happens, man. That happens. Oh, he banned with the Liakshan. I didn't see that one coming, dude. I wasn't gonna lie, this loss hurt. It hurt bad. It meant that I had a lot of pressure on me going into the last part of this tournament, and I was gonna have to really fight for that spot in the top 4. And it didn't help that I was going up against Spids, who had proven herself over the course of the tournament to be a very powerful opponent, and I was gonna have to bring the best stuff that I had. And despite my mind game not working in the previous week, this week it was a little bit different. Jin Kennen and Liakshan were decks that are definitely slept on. The reason Capitao banned Liakshan is because he actually has played Liakshan in the past. Spids, I didn't think, had done that. So again, I brought Darkness, I brought Jin Kennen, and I brought Liakshan. The goal here being that my Darkness deck was the strongest list into what they had, and I was hoping that Spids would then underestimate Jin Kennen enough to let it slide through, despite the fact that it performed really well in my testing against the decks that Spids had been bringing in the past weeks. Specifically into Alawi Gwen, a deck that again focused on a couple key big threats, and my lineup is great at dealing with those. Okay. Understandable though. I did playtest, and I do in general beat Alawi. So we'll go Darkness first. At 5 mana, we do have Furious Wielder, but... Oh, Quietus doesn't get accelerated? What? That doesn't make any sense at all, but all right. I swear to God, if they roll Spell Shield, I'm gonna lose it. That'll be nuts. Dude, are you... That's the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life. There's really no way that I'm winning this, to be honest. I could have gone Senna there, but even if I had went Senna, I don't know how much that would have done for me, because I would have had to go Senna plus to kill Horizai. Or kill anything really, and that Pantheon being in hand just kind of stopped that from happening. It's okay though. Conch hits a good, if Conch hits something good, we're nuts. Oh, Quietus is actually pretty solid. Oh, this is actually the one thing I really wanted to see. This is really good. This is a weird line, right? But I do like it. If I glimpse here, I can at least get almost 2 guaranteed swings out of Catalyzer, unless he's on Tentacle Slam, at which point I get, he burns it here. Honestly, they're at 5 hollowed. I just take that. I think I just take that. I don't want to be too committed to my Catalyzer. 2 hits is good, but I can get like 3 out of it. So I'm going to milk it for all it's worth. So we have 5 damage darknesses now, which is really good because I believe Alawi's what, 6? Okay, she's at 6 HP. So we'd like to hit a Vhagar. Ooh, okay. Well, the good news is I do have Rekindler, so I can just block. GG. Big flex. Let's go! Alright, so I have to just beat it again with Lee Akshan. I can do that though, because I do have, I was smart and I should, yeah, I have 2x quicksand. So I'm pretty good into the Alawi Gwen here, hopefully. Oh, wow. This is actually the perfect opener. If they have an aggro hand, I'm good. I'm actually just winning into an aggro hand. I love that. We win by controlling the number of units on board. This is the only way we're going to win this matchup. Same thing as we did with Darkness. Just minimize the amount of units my opponent's allowed to have at one time. Does suck to have to burn the twin there, especially because now I'm down to having no cards in my hand, which is awful, by the way. If my opponent has a bunch of units, I'm screwed, especially if they're like on foyer right now. Oh, I'm in a horrible spot. I'm not liking where I'm at right now, chat. Foyer here is big. Oh, it's so big. That's so big. Why am I getting high rolled? What the f— There's no way I live this, right? Yeah, this is actually the 2nd week I have gotten high rolled by my opponent on game 3 by an aggro deck. Love that. My match against Psychoto isn't even worth talking about, quite frankly. Psychoto hard read that I was going to bring Jin Kennen and just brought 3 P&Z decks that were packed to the brim with pings and focused on abusing the one deck that he knew I was probably going to bring, since I was really trying to make a showing of it. And coming out of this week, I was not feeling great. It's a rough spot to be in when you're in a tournament trying really hard to prove how strong your deck is, and no matter what, you just keep making these missed calls and these missed reads into what your opponents are going to bring. But I was very lucky because despite my next opponent, Mafraju, being the highest runner in the tournament, she had one weakness. Mafraju, without fail, brought Lurk, and Lurk is an incredibly easy deck to target because it has one key weakness: its early turns. If you are able to stop Lurk from getting their game plan in their early turns, they just can't win most of the time. So once again, I tailored my lineup specifically for the goal of hitting those early turns into Lurk. As long as I could hard counter the first couple turns of every match against that deck, I was set to win. There was really only one situation where Lurk beat any of my decks that I found during testing, and that was if they managed to get Rek'Sai high rolls that were so unlikely, you'd have to be like cheating to get them. Don't really need any of this. Wow, damn. Okay, so no turn 1 go hard, which is like the one thing we want. Lurk bullshit. Let's see if they play down to— okay, so she does not care. I'm gonna save that. Let's take some damage here. Damn. You know, you hope that they miss Lurk, but sometimes they Rek'Sai on 2, you know? The objectively best thing you can do in a Lurk deck. Sweet. Mm-hmm. That's actually unwinnable. That is an unwinnable Lurk game, chat. Now, I don't think my opponent was cheating. I just think she got incredibly lucky with her Lurk high rolls, but that doesn't change the fact that I was incredibly tilted coming out of that match. I surrendered in a tournament match because I encountered the one situation where I auto lose. I genuinely, at this point, contemplated messaging Pink Ghost, the tournament organizer, and saying, I'm out, I'm good, I'm done. Because no matter what I did, no matter how hard I tried to counter my opponent's lineups, or how hard I tried to tech my Jin Kennen deck into beating specific things, nothing was working. And I was ready to give up. And then I saw MajinBae stream. He was playing some Jack Seraphine, and he said something that just changed my entire outlook on my deck as a whole. When you're playing a combo deck, your opponent doesn't win by disrupting your combo, they win by applying pressure to you. And I realized that I had gotten so caught up in teching my Jin Kennen deck to beat every single specific bad situation it could encounter that I stopped its ability to actually do the thing it wanted to do in the first place. And that's level up Kennen, play a Jin, and combine them to control the board, and then win the game. That was it. I had gotten so caught up in proving to people that the deck I built was as good as I said it was, that I lost faith in the deck that I built. So, despite the fact that there was no shot of me taking the finals in this tournament, I knew I still had 2 matches to try to win with Jin Kennen. And that's what I did. I sat down in the deck builder and I put together a Jin Cannon list that did exactly what it was supposed to do. I went up against my match into Puffball Panda. Now, Puffball Panda, second in place in the entire tournament. I didn't care. I had a Jin Cannon deck that did Jin Cannon things. And that was pretty much all I needed. This match was my shot to prove to not the world, prove to myself that I was a good deck builder. We have Black Flame, we have Disciple, we have Darkened Fan. Wow, this is actually a really good hand. So her main goal is to do the Echo Zillion combo. We're both playing combo decks, which means we're both kind of just not interacting with each other. Let's go Eye of the Dragon here. Having my recalls here is really nice. I mean, worst case scenario, I stall till turn 9, and I win on turn 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can go to 5 here, I think. But then if I go to 5, I can't play Jin, so... And we do want to play Jin down. Jin's good removal. I think we vibe. And we just survive this turn. Make sure we have enough mana to deny. And then on turn 9, we just cook. Oh, we love it. We love to see it. Okay. We coin into Jin. Here it is, gamers. Here it is. Enough mana for a deny. We are in really good shape. And we're stunning down the 5-2 off of our next Lotus Trap trigger, which she knows. Let's make sure we leave that motherfucker alone. Okay. I mean, if that's the case, I'm going to stun this. And then she's going to try to do the spell. She may have 2 copies. If she's on 2 copies, we're in a bit of a pickle. Oh, they're on 2 copies. They're on 2 copies for sure. Well, hopefully my deny is enough. Because if my deny is not enough, I'm fucked. I mean, it's possible Panda went for having 2 of them. She's at 6. She's at exactly 6, which is a terrifying amount of mana for them to be at. Because she can double up. She only has 3 in her deck though, so we're relying on her predicting 2 into her hand, which is like, honestly, if she did that preemptively to say, okay, you can deny this turn and then also, or nopify, and then I'll do it again, that's crazy. Like, that's insane power gaming, so I gotta give it to her. Or she's not on the Echo spell. Okay. Do I let this rock? I think we let this rock, gamers. I think we just pass. We just bank all of our mana here. I will deny that. I have no choice but to pop the full raw deny on that. The way I live this is by blocking this here, blocking that there, and stunning the Echo down. So I have to block that, stun the Echo. She's on Rite of Negation. I just have to try to... Okay. Okay. So is she potentially on the second one? Honestly, if she time bombs me here, we're kind of nuts. If she can clean up my board for me, that'd be so fantastic. I'd love that, because then I can Darken Fan. Just raw as hell. All right. Here we go, gamers. Jin on the stack. Stun down the Zillion. He's dead. Stun down the Echo. He's dead. Stun down her. She's dead.
Let's go! Jin Cannon, baby!
Oh, first win all tournament. I finally fucking found a good version to bring. The big lesson I want to be the takeaway of this video, the thing that I learned from this story and what I want you guys to learn, it doesn't fucking matter if people don't think your deck is good. What matters is that you have fun playing that deck and it does the thing you want it to do. Fuck everybody else. Their opinions really don't matter. I built an entire brand off of being bad at card games and also making one deck that's tier 2. And I know it's a tier 2 deck. It's not tier 1. It doesn't have to be tier 1. It's fun to me. I don't need everyone playing Jin Cannon to know that the deck is fun and I enjoy it and I can win with it. At the end of the day, as anime and as cliche as it sounds, here's the big thing. Fuck, believe in yourself. Because I didn't do that. And because of that, I got punished heavily in this tournament. I lost out on a shot at $1,000. $1,000 prize pool because I didn't believe in myself. So don't be like me at the beginning of the video. Be like me now at the end. Okay, that's the moral of this video. Okay, I'm not good at ending things. So that's the ending. Congratulations. Subscribe if you want more content. And as always, have yourselves a damn good one.